Here's what's topping our lineup on the Now on this Friday. Concerns about people hacking into home security cameras are reaching a whole new level. The scam that you need to watch for involving hackers saying they have sensitive images of you. And some states have taken action to keep people safe in rideshare cars, but there's still no national safety standard. The new push to make that happen. And a young girl is on a mission to teach all of us to just live in the moment. You are going to hear her message as one of the youngest yoga instructors in the country.
Thank you, Chris. I'm Amanda Starantino, and you're watching the Now Indy. A portrait train with a local store in the Greenwood Park Mall has locked its door. It's left families waiting on photos and wanting answers. Consumer reporter John Matarese looks into what may have happened so you don't waste your money.
A popular portrait studio with almost 100 locations around the country has shut down without warning, leaving customers without refunds and, worse, without their family photos.
This is our family photo.
Brittany Stewart shows all she has of a $200 family photo session that was supposed to include a framed canvas print for her home.
The canvas was the huge deal.
But she and other customers of Portrait Innovations are now faced with locked doors and closed stores. Everything seemed fine a month ago.
Got an email. About a week later, I went to pick it up, and the store was closed.
So when you showed up, what'd you see?
There was just a sign saying this location is closed.
The Charlotte-based chain has closed up all of its nearly 100 locations around the country, according to news reports.
They were all closed. All busy signals for the phone lines, no Facebook, anything, nothing.
The studio closed so suddenly, I want you to see this, that they left boxes of pictures and canvases and even just photos laying around. Nobody even bothered to clean up. Even the website's down. The Better Business Bureau has put out an alert telling customers to contact their state attorney general or a lawyer. Brittany wants the portrait she paid over $100 for.
I'm hoping that we can get that canvas.
Though she also worries about employees.
I don't know if they knew that they were closing, if they had any notice. So, I mean, some people are dealing with something worse than I am.
Anytime you're getting photo work done, it's a good idea to pay by credit card. That way, if something happens, you can dispute it on your card and you should not have to pay. And that way you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese.
And again, Portrait Innovations had a local studio in the Greenwood Park Mall that is among those shut down. If you had photos there, contact the Better Business Bureau. Kyle.
Gray skies across central Indiana today, and we've got those heading into the weekend as well. Few rain showers have been falling throughout the afternoon and into this evening, but that rain is fairly concentrated. You can see a couple of bands. One that was fairly moderate moved through the Newcastle area, but continuing to weaken just a little bit here as it moves into Muncie and portions of Madison County around Anderson. Some light rain for you. And as we look back to the south and west, another band of some light rain showers about to move into Brazil, crossing Interstate 70 there, and also around the Spencer area, northern portions of Owen County. We've got some more rain showers that will spiral our way. And then there are some snow showers back to the west, the colder side of this system, which will eventually swing into central Indiana. As we look at TrueCast here through this evening, scattered light showers. We're going to have some of that patchy drizzle around the area, I think, for much of the evening and into tonight. As we approach midnight, where we have some more of that widespread precipitation around Greensburg, cold enough temperatures, may see a few snow showers. And then as we go into tomorrow morning, here comes that colder side of the system, bringing in some snow showers to start off the weekend. Temperature right now, though, too warm for any snow out there, as we are close to 40 degrees with that humidity at 96%. A little bit of a west-southwest breeze for us, and temperatures tonight are going to stay above the freezing mark. In fact, we're in the middle 30s for much of the night. By tomorrow morning, just above the freezing mark at 33 degrees. So coming up for our Saturday, we are going to have some light snow accumulation. I think we're talking about an inch or less, mainly on the grassy surfaces with those warmer temperatures. So the road should be in fairly decent shape. Still can't rule out an isolated slick spot. It's going to be a little bit on the breezy side, though. As we go through the day, we're going to have those 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts driving down that wind chill. Take a closer look at your weekend coming up here in just a few minutes. Chris?
A second person in the United States is confirmed to be infected with the coronavirus. CDC saying today that the woman recently visited China and lives in Chicago. Now, Usher Qureshi is joining us from there with the latest developments.
I'm here in Chicago where a woman in her 60s is being treated for the coronavirus. According to the CDC, she is doing well and being monitored at a local hospital. She had just flown back to Chicago from China on January 13th, but didn't feel sick until she came home. Doctors say it's unlikely she infected other people for two reasons. Transmission is not as likely to happen before symptoms develop, and it's believed she didn't come into contact with many people before heading to the hospital. There's an aggressive response to identify the symptoms early on. So far, more than 2,000 people have been screened at 5 U.S. airports. More than 60 people in the U.S. are being tested for the virus in 22 states. Around the world, more than a dozen people have died. But the World Health Organization isn't calling the virus a global health emergency just yet.
We do have the data to construct the epidemic curve, and at this point, when you look at it from the perspective of suspect and confirmed cases, the outbreak is still evolving. We're not in a position to say that the epidemic has peaked.
The WHO is talking with doctors in China daily about the status of the virus as well as the number of infections. Based on that information, they say they can make the call on whether it's become a global health emergency. Right now, China is building a hospital for those infected with coronavirus. It's expected to hold 1,000 patients. In Chicago, I'm Usher Qureshi.
Let's start the Now newsfeed. Bayer's fourth trial over its Roundup weed killer was postponed at the last minute today. They're working on a settlement. The product is accused of causing cancer. Walmart will pay more for certain jobs in 500 of its stores. It's overhauling certain job roles in the U.S. Workers will make $12 an hour instead of $11. They're going to be cross-trained in certain skills and have more responsibility. A senator wants Tesla to rebrand its AUTOPILOT feature. Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey says the name might make drivers believe they don't really need to pay attention behind the wheel. Tesla says it has taken steps to make sure the driver's engaged. Now, ahead in our lineup, some states have taken action to keep people safe in rideshare cars, but there's still no national safety standard. We're looking into the push to make that happen.
Our budget stretches further at Mattress Firm.
Hearing the word cancer is life-changing and opens the patient and their family to a new normal. The 24 Foundation is a cancer philanthropy that helps cancer patients navigate and survive the journey. Today, they teamed up with Thrivent Financial to create care packages for patients. They included socks because patients can get cold from chemo, lotion, lip balm, water bottles, and more.
These are vital. These are things that the cancer patient doesn't have to worry about. We take those issues off of their plate. We try to make an immediate impact as well.
The group assembled 24 kits today. 24 Foundation also raises money to help cancer patients pay for wigs, transportation to medical appointments, and much more.
Let's start the Now newsfeed. Goldman Sachs is calling for more diversity on company boards. It says it won't take a company public unless that company has what it calls a diverse board member. Now, this push is mostly about women. This initiative will start in the United States July 1st. Cash for many people might seem like a thing of the past, but New York City is the latest place to ban stores from going cashless. Food and retail establishments, they must accept cash. This move, leaders say, is to protect vulnerable people who use cash, like seniors, the homeless, and those who are undocumented. London police will start using facial recognition cameras. These cameras will scan the faces of people passing through specific areas. The areas will be picked based off of where intelligence says serious offenders are. Samantha Josephson. She was a 21-year-old South Carolina college student, and she was murdered when she got into a car that she thought was her Uber. Now, it's a story that more people will hear as there is a bigger push for changes in the rideshare industry. Josephson's story and thousands of sexual assault claims by passengers have prompted cities and states to act. South Carolina, New Jersey, and North Carolina, they've passed rider protection laws in her name. A federal law was proposed, but still there's no national standard for ride-sharing safety.
People care about safety more than almost anything else when it comes to Uber, Lyft, and other ride-hailing vehicles.
Consumer Reports recently looked at how people feel about ride sharing, and they say that almost everyone supports mandatory background checks of drivers. A majority think that vehicle inspections should be mandatory, and they're open to regulations around pickup and drop-off locations. Uber and Lyft both claim to background check drivers, and both have recently taken new action to improve passenger safety, but it is still self-regulation. All right, more in our lineup now. An 11-year-old is on a mission to teach all of us to live in the moment. You're going to hear her message as one of the youngest yoga instructors in the country.
board, RTV6 is working for you.
Illness or medical bills contribute to around 530,000 bankruptcies every year. This is according to a study in the American Journal of Public Health. But do medical procedures just have to be that expensive? Stephanie Nolte introducing us to a doctor working to change the way that we pay for care.
Guys are in the room. Everybody concur with the plan? All right, let's dance.
Dr. Demetrio Aguila is a world-class surgeon specializing in nerve pain. He served 22 years in the Air Force. As a combat flight surgeon, Dr. Aguila's duties brought him to Korea, Japan, Iraq, and Afghanistan.
A sense of fulfillment that comes from doing humanitarian work, knowing that if you don't do it, it doesn't get done. When I was in Afghanistan, I was the only head and neck reconstructive surgeon in the entire country.
Even after leaving the Air Force, Dr. Aguila's heart was still with mission work.
We can't ignore the people in our own backyard.
Today, Dr. Aguila volunteers at Orphan Grain Train in Norfolk alongside his patients.
They're more enthused about doing the project because they have another purpose.
Well, it's groundbreaking. I never heard of anything like it.
The patient comes in and we offer him, well, you can pay for your surgery this way, or you can invest in yourself through volunteer time.
M25, named after Matthew 25:40 in the Bible, is a program Dr. Aguila started 6 months ago.
I don't care if you're a multi-billionaire or if you're the guy on the street corner with a styrofoam cup. You get offered the same options. Why? Because it's fair. And then the patient decides, what's more valuable to me? My time, my resources, or my problem?
560 hours is a lot of time, especially when you think small and you think, how am I going to put in 560 hours? I mean, that's literally 14 weeks of full-time work.
But he got it done. More than 100 people put in service hours for Jeff at Orphan Grain Train. His surgery is scheduled for the first week of February.
So I'd have been paying for this surgery for the next, 5-6 years. It's the cost just for Dr. Aguila, just his cost is the cost of a good used vehicle.
Indianapolis Animal Care Services is one step closer to building a new and larger shelter. On Thursday, the Board of Business and Neighborhood Services approved a contract extension with an architecture group that is working to design it. In 2017, that same group conducted a building needs study. Due to the age, size, and current layout, they made the recommendation to relocate and build a brand new shelter. Leaders at IACS say a new shelter will increase their ability to care for animals and find them forever homes.
To have a new facility is critical for us to move forward and to continue to increase our live release rate. Our staff is doing amazing things in the current facility, but they're really limited by what we have right now.
There is no word yet on where the new shelter may be located. Kyle, some cloudy skies out there, and we know that we're still seeing some rain.
Yeah, still some showers around the area. We made it into the 40s this afternoon. Didn't feel as warm as yesterday, though, because we've got those clouds and a few of the showers. Temperatures now have fallen back into the 30s, 38 in downtown and Lafayette, as well as Greenwood, 39 degrees for you in Bloomington and Marion, Indiana. And you can see there the Weather Now camera in Bloomington, picking up on some of those showers that have been moving through. They've all been pretty light for us, and satellite and radar shows we've got just a couple of bands, one that's around the Terre Haute area and Brazil, and also another one through Anderson into Muncie, continuing to lift toward the north and east. So most of us will just be dealing with a little bit of that patchy drizzle tonight. Fast forward to 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, temperatures hovering right around that freezing mark, and we will start to see some more of those snow showers developing, especially near and north of Interstate 70 here. As we go through the middle of the day, we'll have some scattered snow showers, limiting visibility at times out there on the roadways, but you notice that we're going to have numbers a little bit above that freezing mark. So I think a lot of the roads are going to be okay here. Could have an isolated slick spot, but most of the accumulation will be held down because of those warmer temperatures. Even as we go into tomorrow night, we're still around 30 degrees. Here's a look at that snow projection, and we're talking about could see around an inch, maybe a little bit more for northern areas, and then it quickly drops off to the south, and a lot of that's going to be melting on contact. Second half of the weekend now, we'll have dry conditions on Sunday, but it's still going to be seasonably chilly here, with temperatures only making their way into the 30s. In the next few days of the forecast, looking and feeling like January here, as we're going to have those highs in the 30s, but it's a gradual warming trend after tomorrow's high of 34. We'll be to 36 with those cloudy skies on Sunday. Not a whole lot of sunshine coming our way here early next week. Monday and Tuesday, we'll get a little closer to that 40-degree temperature, and it looks like we'll have highs in the lower 40s heading on toward the end of next week. Chris?
Let's start the Now newsfeed. 20 states and D.C. are suing over 3D printed guns. They're challenging a federal rule that could allow blueprints for the guns to be posted online. The blueprints could allow people to make untraceable and unregistered guns. JetBlue's CEO wants the airline industry to do more for the environment, and he warned of what's called flight shaming, a movement where people give up traveling because of the environmental impact. It's mostly something that's been happening overseas. Speaking of airlines, Delta doing more to make sure that your pets are safe on its flights, and if you're a pet owner, you might be able to rest a little easier. It introduced a new pet carrier that will give pet parents real-time updates, and it has a built-in hydration system plus better walls that will protect against temperature changes. A Michigan woman says although her Caribbean cruise is over, her mind never left the boat, and we don't mean it in a good way. Lonnie Martin developed what's called Mall Day Debarkment Syndrome. Well, it's after her vacation last fall. It makes people feel like they are constantly rocking, swaying, or bobbing.
And sometimes it's worse than others, but I have learned how to keep my balance. I just have to concentrate a lot. So, but if I purposely make myself move, I can overcome it and I have control. But once I stop, it has control over me and it makes me move.
Lonnie says sitting or laying down will make her feel sick. The condition's so rare, treatments are limited. Now, when buying a new car, a low price tag isn't always worth it. U.S. News & World Report has its 2020 Best Cars for the Money Awards. Kia won 4 awards. It won for Best 3-Row SUV, Compact Car, Minivan, and Subcompact SUV for the money. Now, right behind them, Toyota earned 3 honors, including the electric and hybrid categories. Honda won 2, then Chevy and Hyundai both took home 1. Parents, you might be tired of having to tell your kids, just put down the phone and be present. Well, a young lady is taking mindfulness to another level. Usher Qureshi caught up with the youngest Bhakti yoga instructor in the country.
Inhaling.
At just 11 years old, Mika Leach is wise beyond her years.
Think more mindfully before you speak, not just blur everything out at once. Now lifting up your arms.
Today in her Mindfulness with Mika class, she instructs both children and adults on how to calm their minds and live in the present.
Pushing back up.
It took 200 hours for her to complete her Bhakti Yoga certification, making her the youngest instructor in the U.S.
Being the youngest is like no difference than being the oldest. It's just about how you teach.
A national fencing champion, Mika's coach first suggested she try yoga to increase flexibility. One class, and her mother says she was hooked.
She felt like this was her calling. She would tell us she would stay up late writing yoga flows. She would have her little friends over and she would play like yoga teacher.
When she asked her parents if she could take the yoga teacher training course, Mika's instructors made an exception for the promising young study.
So many times we see kids her age and their faces are in their phones, and she's that other side of the spectrum that's now like, hey, wait a minute, we don't have to have our face in our phones. We could be doing all this stuff to heal ourselves and heal the world.
And that's what Mika says she wants to do. As a trained Reiki master, she's passionate about holistic therapy and is also a certified harmonic waves healing practitioner.
So I use my healing instruments that I have here, and it's meant to help heal you, and it just helps like relax you.
Her transformation from student to teacher is now complete.
I mean, she really is like this old soul that was put in this little body to come and help change the world, and it's been really magnificent to watch.
Reporting from Willowbrook, Illinois, I'm Usher Qureshi.
Namaste.
Wow, look at that, Usher. Thank you. Now, finally in our lineup today here on the Now, concerns about people hacking into home security cameras are reaching a whole nother level. The scam you need to watch for involving hackers saying they have sensitive images of you.